Francesco immediately prevents back exposure by pivoting inward and rotating his left hip to the floor. Grappling is a game of trade-offs. In the process of using his left hip rotation to put pressure on my head, Francesco had to take weight away from my hip, and now I'm able to raise my hip up. Lifting my hip allows me to rotate my left hip inward and adding torque to Francesco's knee. This prevents Francesco to bring his knee over my hip, and should he now go for a knee slide, I can fully turtle and start coming on top. I gradually start rotating more on top, adding more pressure to the knee, and Francesco now has to shift his weight using his left hand as a post to reclaim his balance. Francesco was able to reclaim his balance. His structure looks solid, except for his knee still being torqued. As long as I control the rotation of one body part, in this case Francesco's right knee, I control the rotation of his whole body, and this allows me to dictate the game. I rotated myself more underneath here to prevent Francesco from running away. This allows Francesco to start attacking me with a crossface, but as long as I stay tight and connected, it is very hard for him to spread me out. Notice how I use my left arm grip around the leg to make myself tighter. Francesco now has a very tight dilemma. If he starts to run away to free his leg, it allows me to come on top, and should he push forward, I can roll underneath and expose a sweep to the far side. At the same time, I keep adding pressure to the knee, making it more uncomfortable and forcing Francesco to act. Francesco starts attacking me with the Dars. As long as I can position and angle myself to negate the pressure, I can let this attack work in my favor. An opponent who thinks he has something is less likely to disconnect and run away, and this favors a slower methodical game. Francesco left the gap under his armpit and I was able to get a very shallow underhook. Rewatch that same sequence and notice how I always kept rotating in to prevent Francesco from spreading me out. If you get spread out, that's the start of the pass. Always stay on your side in half guard, even if it means forgoing temporarily the underhook. Here it might seem that Francesco has the upper hand, but I still control the rotation and torque of the knee. As long as I have the knee, I'm controlling the fight. Francesco shifted his weight away to try to free his knee, and this allowed me again to come more on top. I will now start to lift my hip more and gradually go to turtle. The hardest part of the round is now over. I'm already on top of myself. All I gotta do now is keep adding pressure, break Francesco's structure, and gradually start bringing his hip or his shoulder to the floor. All I gotta do now is stay on top and tight, preventing Francesco's attempts to break my structure. The right arm grip underneath my right shoulder works in my favor. Should Francesco push forward, I can roll underneath and start my sweep. I was able to secure a grip on Francesco's left foot, and now I control the rotation of both legs. I now fully control the rotation on both sides of Francesco's body, and it is now much more hard for him to compensate for my constant pressure. The only option he has to alleviate the pressure is start to go down on his hip, and thus giving me top. I bring myself back on the bottom here to trigger Francesco coming up, and this will allow me to easily free my left arm and get the underhook. However, Francesco doesn't fall for the bait, he stays connected and attempts to keep spreading me out. If I disconnect, I would start a scramble and then it's very hard to keep control. Francesco loses head control and is now forced to turtle in order to reclaim top. Immediately get control of the far hip to prevent Francesco from standing up. Francesco tries to bump me over and I start attacking the back. He defends well, however, and we end the round in side control. This is all part of a bigger system that I call the Quantum Half Guard. My instructional, where I fully explain the Quantum Half Guard concept, is now available at BJJ Fanatics. Over 12 hours of instructional covering every aspect of Half Guard, and based on principles that can be used to improve your game overall. You can find the link in the comments.